So I'm back today with another video. If you are new to my channel, my name is Sasha. I was an escort for over 10 years, and today I'm here to address some of my most commonly asked questions when people find out that I used to be an escort. So we just gonna get into it. So the questions I get is like, which race has the biggest penis size? Does size matter? What size do I prefer? Do I like circumcised or uncircumcised? In my experience, which race comes faster? Which race lasts longer? I get asked about my best experience with the client. Have I ever had a good experience with the client? And so we gonna get into it. I'm here today. I'm gonna spill the beans, babe. So the first question I'm gonna answer is, what size do I prefer? And do I like circumcised or uncircumcised? The for me, the penis has to at least be over 7 inches. I prefer uncircumcised. It does it for me. It's a turn on for me for it to be like uncircumcised. And you pull the skin back and it's like a big mushroom head. I like two-tone penises where like it has a pink head and the dick is like a different color. That's just me. That's personally what I'm into. If you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my notes so I won't forget some of my most commonly asked questions. I don't like no skinny dick. It can't be skinny. I like mine with some girth to it. If it got veins, that's a plus. If it got a curve, that's a plus. So we're going to get to the next question. The next question I'm going to answer. What was my best experience with a client? Have I ever had a good experience with a client? Has a client ever made me orgasm and made me feel good? I will say my best experience with a client, he was a celebrity, so I cannot name his name, but honey, I was infatuated with him. Like, the man was so fine. So I was already excited, and I mean, at the same time, I can't even believe, like, he called me up and shit, and that, like, he was doing this, and I guess, like, he chose me, like, you know what I'm saying? That was my best experience with a client. I got paid, and I slept with somebody I never would have imagined that I would get the chance to sleep with, and it was bomb. Like, I don't know. Or maybe it was even more bomb because I was so excited, but it was bomb, and it was a moment that I will never forget. Also, as an escort, I'm commonly asked, like, which race has the biggest penis size? Does size matter? I think it's a stigma. I think it's definitely a stigma. The stigma is that black men, they have the biggest dicks. And if you ask me, I honestly think it's a lie. I think it's a lie. I escorted over 10 years. A few years over 10 years. We don't get into that. I'm going to be honest with you. I've ran into some white men with some super big dicks, yo. Like, during the session, with some of these white men, like, I could hardly deal with it. It was to the point where with some of these white men, I was just like, hey, I'll just finish in another way. Y'all know what I'm saying. Because it's too fucking much, yo. Man, if you ask me, I would say white men might have some of the biggest dicks that I've experienced. Don't get me wrong. These black men, these niggas, they be, some of them, they be having some bigs too, but like, man, a lot of them is average. You'll be surprised. These white men, man, they be having some Big dicks. Have I ever dealt with a big dick Hispanic? A few in between, baby. A few in between. Which race has the smallest penises in my experience? I would say Indians, Asians, although I have ran into like 2 big dick Asians before, believe it or not. But for the most part, Asian men are small, Indian men are small. Mexicans, they tend to be average. A lot of them are small too. But for the most part, in my experience, a lot of Mexican men are average. Now, what is average to me? Average, in between 5 to 7.5 inches. 6 to 7.5 inches to me is average. Not too wide, maybe even skinny. Nothing too special about it. You know, I call that kind of dick average. You know, a dick is average to me if, you know, it don't have nothing special. No curve, no, like special veins or, you know, not particularly a huge head or anything. Like, you know, that's all average. So which race has the biggest penis size? For the most part, in majority, if you ask me, I would say white men, because I've ran into more white men that for the most part have a larger dick than some of these niggas. I guess I would say black men would come in number 2. A lot of them, they be having, a lot of them, they do have big ones, but you would be surprised how many of them don't. And it's like men is on the outside looking in, so y'all can only believe like what y'all heard and like I guess what y'all see on porn and stuff. With me, like I actually used to see penis after penis every day, you know. So if you ask me which race has the biggest penis size, I would say number 1, for the most part, white men. And number 2, black men, you know, Africans and stuff like that. So that's my take on it. We're going to get into the next question. Okay, so another question I get, which race comes faster? Which race lasts longer? Indians come the fastest. Indians is number 1 for coming the fastest. Number 2, I would say Mexicans. Hispanics come pretty quick. Hispanics can come pretty quick, although some of them, they can last. But for the most part, Hispanics come pretty quick. Asians. No, I think Asians is number 2. Number 1, Indian. Number 2, Asians. Number 3, Hispanics. Which race lasts longer? These niggas. Now, we go back to the other question I told y'all. A lot of these white men, they have big dicks. But I think they come faster. They come faster. Some of them come faster. Some of them is too fucking much. But which race lasts longer? If you ask me, for the most part, I would say I've had some of my longer, most annoying, long ass sessions with these niggas. And that is the end of the questions that I'm most commonly asked. I just need to make a video to address this so that, you know, it's out here from an escort's perspective. Yeah.